Hello, Internet. The Morgan You Know podcast network presents Balls and Brew.
Hello, good evening to those of you joining us live on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube. Good afternoon, good morning, whenever you happen to be catching up on this later by whatever podcast platform you prefer. We thank you so very much for spending some of your time with us. My name is Rod Morgan. I will serve as the host this evening of Balls and Brew, a sports podcast here on the Morgan You Know podcasting network. We looked all fancy coming in, and faithful listeners and watchers will know we did not look that way last week, and we did not look that way last week for one reason and one reason only. He's not allowed to leave us ever again. We absolutely fall apart without him here. He's our guy. He's the executive producer of this podcast, one of my oldest and dearest friends. Jimmy, never leave us again. Jimmy James Thomas, Jim Riska.
We fall apart with me here, so I can only imagine what happened when I wasn't here. Gentlemen, thank you very much for picking up the slack last week. I love football again. What's going on?
Jimmy loves football. You longtime listeners will know what that means. Up there in the corner, if you're watching, or down south, if you're me geographically, it's our old man. He's in Bloomington, Chris King. Chris, hello.
Thank you, Jimmy. And it's nice to see that Rod is trying to jump back on to the Colts fandom bandwagon, right? He shunned this team at the beginning of the year, and look at him now. We're trying to get back on this bandwagon.
Jimmy, we should have started keeping track of all of the different things that Chris has said I have done to the Colts, because I believe shunned is a new one. So I at least appreciate that he is going to the thesaurus and pulling out new things that I've done to the Colts each week, but shunned is a new one.
I think I'm very thesaurus, yeah, because he has access to one of those. He had to go down to the schoolhouse and ask the one-room schoolhouse teacher some words. Come on now. He can't read.
He's got one of the original copies. What are you talking about? He's missing
I
so
own
many
books,
words.
Jimmy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not a thesaurus, the thesaurus. I'm sorry. My
That's
bad.
right.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's right.
My bad.
Speaking of the thesaurus, that's a tough one to say even for a semi-professional podcast host. We have the handicapper, our guy, Josh Williams. He's just across the way over here in Mishawaka, just like me. Josh, hello.
What's up, boys? Week 6 was the revenge week. We had revenge week for Rico Dowdle against the Cowboys. And who was the DC for the Cowboys this year? None other than Matt Eberflus. He refuses to make adjustments to put 5 defensive linemen up on the line to stop Rico Dowdle revenge game. And then we had the Bears getting revenge from the Fail Mary in DC from the previous year. And guess who started that revenge from the previous year? It was Matt Eberflus with the terrible Hail Mary defense. So if you want a revenge game, just schedule Matt Eberflus on your schedule, and it will happen.
Already entirely too much Matt Eberflus up at the top of the podcast. We will get into further analysis of those games here in just a little bit, but we start with the cold open question of the week. And in honor of the new CBS sitcom premiering DMV, and in honor of the fact that all of us have to drive throughout certain points of our lives, whether professionally for a guy like me or just, to go out and have fun, here's my cold open question. I am the driving genie. I will grant all three of you one driving related wish. So you can wish away anything you want. Whatever you wish away will never occur on the roads ever again. You will never encounter it. So yes, all of you are thinking there, think in your brain, I am the driving genie. I will let you take away whatever annoying pet peeve you have seen on the road in one wish. It is gone. Jim Riska, I will come to you first. What are you wishing away on the road?
Easy, no question. Had to think about it for 3 seconds. Those idiots, when the lane goes down to one lane, that they see every single other car getting into that left lane. But no, that's not for them, Rod. No. They get to go all the way to the, and then they want to get in. I'm sorry. We live in a society, people. That's not happening. That is what I want to get rid of. That ain't happening.
Jimmy, I love that because your wish is so magnanimous that what it actually does is not only does it keep jerks from being able to get in, but the fact that these jerks keep trying to cut in is what's causing the backup. If everybody would just get in line and realize that's what we're going through, we stay in line,
You're the problem.
everybody goes about it, we'd be fine. But no, you're right. We got somebody who's, this is America 2025. I've got my own social media. I should be able to get up there to the front. I'm in a Mazda Miata. Whatever it is, Jimmy, I love that one. Williams, I'm the driving genie. You're wishing something away on the road. What is it?
I mean, I have to go with the overall construction in Mishawaka, Indiana. It is absolutely ridiculous. And everyone thinks that their town is the worst. I travel to a lot of different towns. No town is worse. No city is worse than Mishawaka, Indiana. Rod, and you know this. How long was the bridge closed over there by Cedar? Over by your place. It's like over a year. It was closed. No, you can't do.
I think you're doing him a favor by saying a year. I think it was closed for longer than that. I was thinking it was like 18 months.
Insane. The Mishawaka Roads and Crew construction is absolutely insane. Get all the construction done in Mishawaka. Let's go.
I love this one. You did kind of go selfishly and say you're just getting rid of it in Mishawaka. So our folks that listen outside of the Mishawaka area are like, hey, Williams, help us out with our construction. And you're like, no. We're just going to worry about Mishawaka over here. So I like that move out of you, Williams.
We've only got a certain budget with the Morgan, so we got to just take care of Mishawaka first.
Hey, quick question, Rod. This wasn't a fair question for Chris. He doesn't know what a car is.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
I've been around. I was there when Henry Ford started up that factory. I know what a car is, and I'll tell you what my wish would be. It's a very selfish wish. I just want that light to turn green. Every time I'm coming up to the intersection, I want my light to turn green. I don't care which way I'm going. It needs to know and turn that light green. Because right now, I'm telling you, every time I pull up to a light, it turns red. I'm sick of it.
No, you don't ever listen to the questions that I ask. You honestly, or maybe you do, and you just decide that you're going to answer the way you want to. I said we're getting rid of an annoyance on the road. The fact that a light is red for you, you're going to turn it like you're something.
That is a very big annoyance. Running a little bit late, a couple minutes late, and every light turns red on me, Rod. It's annoying.
Oh, that's absolutely terrible out of you. This is going to be a bang-up episode between you and I. That's absolutely terrible out of you. All right, here's the one that I am getting rid of, okay? And this one is something that I've only noticed recently, and I really don't have an explanation for it. I don't know why we're doing it, but why do people have to absolutely, just for lack of a better term, die to make right-hand turns now? Like, I just don't understand why people are coming to absolute complete stops in the lane of traffic before they then turn right. Don't they understand that their car will keep slowing down if they keep their foot on the brake as they're going into the turn? Have we all forgotten this? Are they not teaching it in driver's ed anymore? I do not understand why people are driving and then they basically, there's no one behind me. Who could possibly be behind me? I'm the only person on the road right now. Let me come to a complete stop here before I make this right-hand turn. Absolutely has to stop.
Yeah,
I gotta say, I live in a city where there is nothing but no right turn on red or anything else like that.
Get those out of there too.
Right? Like, if you get that, there you go, right? Get rid of those no right turn on red. Get rid of those signs, and then I'll let people start rolling through red lights to turn right.
Rod, I need 10 seconds.
Just
in Bloomington, Indiana, there's no cars. I can turn. There's nothing there. Why is it no turn on red? It's ridiculous. That's why I left.
This is a passionate opener right here. Passionate.
I'm telling you, that's what the cold open question is designed to do. Get us fired up, get us ready. Something else that the old man is going to get fired up about, and he's lucky that he got back into my good graces, or I was just going to skip over this topic. But the Indiana Hoosiers football team. That's right. We're not talking the basketball team. We're not talking about their new coach, whose name I couldn't even tell you. We're not talking about the Bob Knight glory days. We're talking about the IU football team who went into Oregon, beat them, became the number 3 team in the country. But Chris, the story for me is Penn State fired their coach. Word started sneaking out that Kurt Signetti, a guy who's from Pennsylvania, maybe would go to Penn State. And today we received word your Indiana Hoosiers signed him to an 8-year, $93 million contract, giving him $11.6 million a year. Chris, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, let's be honest, he deserves it, right? If we're going to throw money at a guy that's going to win in IU football, like, let's give him the money. He has got us into these playoffs. He's made us a national powerhouse in just less than 2 years. So back up that truck. We haven't seen this ever. And I've been around, Rod, for a long time. And the closest was like back in 45, maybe 67. But like, no, this is unprecedented. Back that truck up. And they upped the buyout clause from 10 million to 15 million. So it's going to be even harder for someone to poach him in the future.
Yeah, no one's going to ever fire somebody, or with a $15 million buyout.
Jimmy Jam, your thoughts? Did you think Cignetti was maybe going to look at some of these jobs that are going to be open? You've got some ties to Bloomington as well. What do you think about what's happening there?
I really didn't. I thought he was going to stay. That's his mindset. I thought maybe NFL if he's like, hey, I might as well cash in now. But no, he's more of a hard-ass college coach, and I thought he was going to stay because, I mean, all he does is win, and he's proving it. I mean, look at what he's doing. He could be bigger than Bob Knight in 5 years.
There's not a worse football
James
program
Franklin
out there to rebuild. So why would he go someplace else? Everybody else has won before, not us.
Yeah.
No, I get that, Chris. He definitely gets a chance to make his own legacy at Indiana, and they're paying him well enough, and football facilities are on the way. I get all of it. Williams, James Franklin hadn't beat 2 top 10 teams in over a decade at Penn State, and Curt Cignetti has done it in a year and a half at Indiana. I mean, how good is this coach? You're our guy about coaching. You follow college football a little closer than the rest of us. Like, how good Cignetti did you think maybe he was going to be having a wandering eye on the Hoosiers?
Man, Cignetti is awesome. I think you could argue that this Oregon win was the best win of the year for any team going into and winning at Oregon. Nobody could have predicted that 2 years ago, IU going into Oregon. And they set up the schedule perfectly this year. They had an extra rest day to get prepared for Illinois, who back then was a top 10 team. IU destroyed them. They gave they worked the bye into the Oregon game to travel out there. And they also scheduled Penn State here in the future when Penn State was playing after the Ohio State game. Remember, Penn State was number 2 preseason college football. So there was some that thought that Penn State best chance was to beat Ohio State this year. If we get Penn State after they beat Ohio State, that's a huge letdown game for Penn State. Now, obviously, that's all changed because Franklin's gone and Penn State's quarterback is gone. But so that game is looking a lot easier now. So, yeah, I mean, if you go to the odds boards on DraftKings, IU's 4th right now to win the national championship. If you go to Mel Kiper's big board, guess who's number 1 overall pick? Mendoza, IU quarterback. We have the best coach in the nation. We have 3 pros at all levels on defense. We have 1 on defensive line, 1 at linebacker, 1 in the secondary. We have just an awesome atmosphere now in Bloomington. Why can't this team, when all these other teams don't really have an awesome quarterback, why can't this team with the best coach in the nation and a pretty damn good defense win the whole thing this year? Let's go, Hoosiers.
I'm glad you brought up defense. That's one thing.
Rod is so excited he's on mute.
Yeah, but I'm glad he brought up defense.
It sounded like Lou Brown there. Go ahead, Chris.
Because this is something that we've never seen from an IU team, all right? I have watched a lot of IU games, and we have never had the defensive line, let alone the offensive line, really to win those battles up front on a consistently good basis for an entire game, let alone an entire season. And we went into Oregon and we just dominated their offensive line, which was supposed to be one of the best in the nation. So this defense is something I've never seen before. I'm not used to seeing IU defensive linemen get deep into the backfield to make plays. It's insane.
I mean, I think that almost goes without saying because we're not used to seeing IU football do a lot of the things that they've done over the last couple of years. But one quick thing, excuse me, my goodness, I would like to mention before we leave college football, is the last team to beat the Indiana Hoosiers is starting to round into form just a little bit. Their last big game is this weekend versus USC. It is a night game. South Bend is already pumped, and CJ Carr is looking pretty good. And I'm excited about it. Not as a Notre Dame fan, I'm excited about it because this is a freshman quarterback who's playing for a national powerhouse team and has a chance to keep playing for that national powerhouse team for a couple of years, which is something we just don't see in college football anymore. Even Notre Dame themselves were guilty of it the last couple of years, bringing in Riley Leonard, and the year before that, bringing in Hartman. So it's just nice for me to see a freshman coming in, playing, and he may actually be Notre Dame's starting quarterback for multiple years, which is crazy because we haven't seen that up here in Irish land in quite a while. Let's go Notre Dame. Since you guys just did all that pro IU stuff, I had to balance it, Jimmy.
How do they get in the playoffs? Got 2 losses. How do we do it?
As long as those 2
out.
losses continue to be against Miami and Texas A&M, and those teams stay up in the top 10, that's exactly how you do it. And you lost to them by a combined score of 5 points in both games. That's how you do it.
Yeah, you'd like to see like an Alabama and some of these other teams get another loss too. That would do nothing but help their case.
I don't know. Alabama's
We'll
doing
get to
pretty
that
well.
when we need to get to that. Let's move on to the NFL because we got a few other things to get to after we talk NFL. Let's do a check-in on our teams around here. Chris made fun of me in the open, so our streak continues of him jabbing me about the Colts. But the Colts streak continues. But Jimmy, I'm going to start with you on something we texted about. Our guy Jacoby Brissett, he tried his damnedest to knock us off there, didn't he? My goodness.
You know, we gave him the opportunity to lead a franchise, and he does this in return. That's ridiculous. You know, when you look at it and you see Kyler Murray's out. Oh, we're golden. Who's their backup? Jacoby Brissett. Oh, that's fine. Uh-oh. Revenge. And Williams was right on the other ones. This was almost there, too, because he turned into Tom Brady, honestly, against Peyton Manning and the Colts there. It was ridiculous that we almost lost to a team that didn't have – who was our running back? I think Chris was our running back.
Yeah, it was troubling there for a little bit. Chris, your thoughts on the Colts continuing to look like one of the best teams in the AFC right now because the Bills lost again.
Right? Yeah, no. It's amazing, right? Let's just revel in this moment. Let's enjoy every minute of it because I know all of you, this is shocking. I mean, I picked them to win their division, but I know all of you didn't. So I know this is shocking for a lot of people. So just enjoy this moment because who knows? But Indiana Jones and the Colts are getting it done, and I'm going to keep enjoying this. They're scoring more points, Rod, than the Sheriff, all right? They're doing it better than Peyton Manning ever could. Is that unbelievable or what?
Love an 18 shout out on the podcast. Good on you there, Chris Williams. I know you know this because you're always studying, you're always handicapping. The Colts schedule stiffens up a little bit here. They've had it kind of easy a tad bit in the beginning of the year, other than that Denver game. What are your thoughts on this Colts team? Because you were big on them before, but do you think we're going to see a bit of a regression, or are they just going to keep rolling on to a team that only loses 3 or 4 games all year?
Yeah, I think this is the highest mark in the market that the Colts will be at, maybe possibly all year. They kind of and give the Colts credit. They beat up on Tua, they beat up on Nix, beat up on Cam Ward, beat up on Geno. Now they get Justin Herbert, and now you've got 3 of your corners that are banged up. And you guys just said it before. Jacoby Brissett looked awesome last week. Here comes Justin Herbert. So, and we know that the Colts have not won in LA since 1986. So this will be a very tough game for the Colts here. I would not be surprised if the Chargers clip them here.
That's kind of cherry picking a stat, though, isn't it? Because
we're going to circle back real quick on that. Since 1986, they haven't won in LA. I wonder why, Williams.
Yeah, that's cherry picking there. But I get it. All right, let's transition to your team, Williams. You mentioned it. Revenge. The Bears, last second field goal. They didn't bear. Everybody thought they were going to bear, and they didn't do it. I know I heard a bunch of football commentators saying, I thought for sure the Bears were going to miss that field goal, and they didn't miss the field goal. They won the game. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's amazing when you get good players back. TJ Edwards was back at linebacker. He definitely helped out stopping Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. We got our nickel back Kyler Gordon. He shut down Deebo Samuel, and then we also got back Jonah Jackson and Darnell Wright on the offensive line on that right side, and that definitely opened up some holes for DeAndre Swift, especially on that last drive there. And I thought Caleb played better. He did make a bad throw on one of the turnover-worthy throws that could have been picked off. But man, that game was in the wet, mist, and they took away that terrible call, that touchdown on Rome Odunze. I thought that was an awesome pass, awesome, even better catch by Rome. But yeah, I think the Bears did not play exceptionally well at all, just like the Raiders game. But the old Bears team would have found a way to lose those two games at the Raiders, at Washington. This Bears team found a way to win those games. Now the schedule opens up. They get the Saints. They get the Ravens. The Ravens are a mess right now, even though Lamar might come back. They get the Bengals. The Bengals are a mess right now. They will not see Burrow. They get the Giants in there at home. Then they got a revenge game with the Vikings. So all before Thanksgiving. So if they can go like 4-2 up here in these next 6 games to make a stretch run post Thanksgiving, this team is exciting finally, and they're finally playing some good football.
Jimmy Jam, I wondered, defense looked a little bit better to me watching a good chunk of that game. I was excited to see our favorite squad playing a little bit better defense, but Williams did mention the miss there. How much do we attribute to the Bears D getting better, or the fact that it was a little tough to play offense on that night?
Honestly, it was only tough, I think, in the fourth quarter, and that's the fumble obviously was the big one. And give it to the Bears. They took the ball away when they needed to. Their special teams, Jake Moody, who, by the way, is my face of the week. You know what? It's my thing. I'm going to do co-faces of the week, Jake Moody and DeAndre Swift. We need to make sure that we give Swift his credit. I think he had 167 total yards, ran like he was supposed to. And real quick, that's when you have a coach that knows there's an issue and spends 2 full weeks trying to figure out how to make the run game better. And he did. Also, shout out to Theo Benedict, the new left tackle from Canada. Excellent work.
Nice. Jimmy, you did mention it there, your face. We'll get back to you for your heel here in just a second. But Chris, speaking of running, your Cowboys got run all over. Rico Dowdle revenge game. Your thoughts as a Cowboys fan?
I mean, let's just have some focus, right? The dude's talking trash to your defense before the game, and you're not going to get fired up to stop him. Even a bad defense can get fired up to stop one guy, especially when that guy's a backup. It's frustrating because, again, we have a elite offense right now, but our defense is just sad. It's just really sad.
Wow, Chris doesn't usually sound this defeated about his teams, Jimmy. I don't even want to say anything more about the Cowboys. Let's just move on and let you do your heel of the week.
Yeah, it would be definitely horrible if someone made fun of the Cowboys that I'm trying to do right now. Heel of the week, I think we have to go to well, let's just show the Cowboys. As you can see, the helmet there is not very good. Heel of the week is going to be Justin Fields. And Rod, this pains me. It pains me.
Yeah.
He had 45 yards passing on 9 of 17. There were 4 or 5 passes that just weren't accurate. If they were accurate, they would have been first downs. 31 yards rushing too, which is not good. And we'll talk about Aaron Glenn too. But if he's your starting quarterback, you need to use him. I mean, you can't be afraid to have your starting quarterback throw the ball, and he's afraid to have their starting quarterback throw the ball. It was pathetic and sad.
Yeah, frankly, like the Jets should kind of just like be George Costanza at this point, right? You guys remember when Costanza was just like, I'm going to do the opposite. Like everything that I've ever thought in my life has led me to here, and that's been a complete mistake. So let me just do the absolute opposite and see if that works out better for me. I mean, what do the Jets have to lose at this point? What do they have to look back on through the first weeks of this year and be like, we did this well. The only thing they did well was, again, what I let cloud my judgment was Aaron Glenn ran and danced on the sideline. And you don't usually see that level of joy out of an NFL coach. And I thought that meant something. And clearly it meant absolutely nothing because the Jets are terrible. Williams, I know you have more on this with your Are You Serious? Quickly becoming one of the world's favorite segments.
Yeah, just to follow up there with Fields, he had 9 sacks. He also had 9 completions. That's the first time that's happened since 2021 in the NFL. The QB who did it back then, Justin Fields. So
Shut up.
No. Ouch.
Wow.
But yeah, are you serious? I have Aaron Glenn on this one. Let's go back in time to the end of the first half over there in London with that brutal Broncos Jets game. The Jets have the ball on their own 38 at the end of the half. You fake a punt with 104 left. That's fine. But what the Jets did with that possession afterwards, that's what's mind-boggling, and not in a good way. They get the 1 yard for the first down on the fake. They use their second timeout. Then they run the ball. Then they go back to pass. Fields gets sacked. Then they throw a pass on 3rd and 7 for 6 yards. So it's 4th and 1 with 9 seconds left, and you still have a timeout left. You have 2 options. Either you try to pick up 8 to 10 yards for a field goal attempt, get a timeout, or you just chuck a Hail Mary. I mean, Justin Fields, that's one thing that he can do really well. He can throw it like 60 yards in the air. You chuck a Hail Mary to see if you can score a touchdown and maybe get a defensive PI. Instead, what does Aaron Glenn do? He runs the clock out, so Denver didn't even get the ball. They didn't even run a play. Aaron Glenn, are you serious? You were 0-5 going in. Now you're 0-6. Plus, we have yet another coach who is tipping his plays. I'll go honorable dismention here. Jets offensive coordinator Tanner Engstrom. When New York is in 21 personnel or 12 personnel, so that's 2 tight ends or a running back and a fullback, they are running it 83% of the time. When Garrett Wilson is out on the field, it's basically a pass play. And guess what? Garrett Wilson is hurt now. So what are the Jets going to do? They're just going to run it like 92% of the time with their 3 tight ends? Something. I knew the Jets were going to be a train wreck this year. I did not expect this bad of a train wreck. Aaron Glenn, are you serious?
It's so much, Aaron Glenn, are you serious, that Rich Eisen, an experienced NFL broadcaster, and Kurt Warner, an experienced NFL Hall of Famer and broadcaster, at the end of the first half were literally crowdsourcing social media for someone to try to explain to them what they thought the Jets were trying to do. I mean, shout out to Rich Eisen. He's got it pitch perfect every time. Heel and face, are you serious is done. You faithful listeners, and I mean you, Cleveland Crippler and Corey Nance, you guys know what is next. It's the favorite segment of the internet, soon to maybe be caught by Are You Serious, but the favorite segment of the internet, it's Chris's Leatherheads of the Week.
Well, listen, since we've been piling on these last 2 segments, my honorable mention goes to the Denver Broncos defense, that unit as a whole. All right. 82 total yards of offense is what the Jets were able to do against that defense. All right. 9 sacks, like Williams mentioned. All right. A forced fumble. Like, it was just dominating. I know a lot of it has to do. Listen, if you want to, you can give Aaron Glenn and Justin Fields an assist for Denver Broncos defense to make it a little bit easier, but they get an honorable
Sean
mention
Payton
anyway.
should have given them the game ball. He should have given them the game ball and not the captain of the defense.
Right? Yep. Walk across to the stadium to give Glenn the game ball. He's like, "Thanks, Aaron. I appreciate it."
That would have been awesome, dude. Sean Payton's troll enough to do it too. I swear he is.
Right? But okay, this guy, the guy that we have nominated this week's Leatherhead, was actually nominated by Rod. I don't listen to him often, but when he makes a good, valid point, I will. This defender single-handedly stopped 25% of the opposing team's offensive snaps. That is Nate Landman from the Rams, 17 total tackles, 25% of the offensive plays that he stopped.
I read somewhere that he was
the week.
He was personally called by Billy Bob Thornton after this game and told that he is now the actual Landman, and Billy Bob has no more claim to it, and people should stop watching his show on the Paramount Plus network. Shout out to those of you that even knew what I was talking about on that joke right there. Let's move on.
They're recasting it, Rod. They're recasting it with Nate as the lead.
Let's go. It might be a better show than the first season, I'll tell you. I was excited from the beginning, but it trailed off by the end. We've actually talked about it before on this network. Go back and look in the descriptions. You can find it. Let's move on to our Williams picks against the spread. As he mentioned at the top, he was 1-1 last week. That's better than being 0-2, but we are still looking for that elusive 2-0 week. Williams, what do you got for us?
Yeah, man, I got hurt last week when Fred Warner got hurt. When he was in the game for the Niners, the Bucs went punt, punt, punt. After he got hurt, the Bucs went touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. You think that guy means something to the Niners defense? And by the way, the Niners just terrible, terrible, brutal injury luck. So, yeah. Well, okay. Let's get back on track here. Week 7. Philly at Minnesota. I am going to take the Minnesota Vikings plus 2.5 on FanDuel, minus 115. Vikes coming off a bye here. You got
alert. You are betting on Carson Wentz. Alert. You are betting on Carson Wentz.
We'll get to that in a second. Elite coaching staff here. One of the best home field advantages. O-line should be relatively healthy. Another week to get Jordan Addison back in the flow of the offense. You go to the Philly side. Jalen Carter's banged up. Eagles O-line's banged up. Their top corner, Quinyon Mitchell, is going to miss, which should mean some more open windows for Jefferson and Addison. If you haven't heard, those guys are pretty good. Wentz obviously still holds the ball way too long, but Rod, surprisingly, he's just outside the top 10 in success rate, adjusted EPA, and completion percentage plus EPA. I don't make those stats up. I didn't believe it either, but I'm just reading what the stats tell me. This Philly team...
It just makes me more angry about how terrible he was as a Colt then, if he can pull this off now, coming out of nowhere and doing it.
This Philly team just got blown out by the Giants. They should have lost to the Rams. And this new OC for Philly has been a disaster. Kevin Petula, who was the passing game coordinator last year, he can't get out of his own way here. Philly hasn't been able to move the ball versus zone or blitz. Against zone, they are negative 1.8 EPA per play, and versus the blitz, they're negative 0.42 EPA per play. Massive downgrade in those numbers from when Steichen was there and when Kellen Moore was there. And guess what? You're playing against the Vikings. They blitz at a top 5 rate, and they play zone more than anyone in the league. Hurts has been really bad versus cover 2, specifically 35% success rate. That success rate is dead last among all QBs in the league. Vikes play the most cover 2 in the league. The Philly has a negative point differential on the year. They lead the league in 3-and-out rate. Barkley, without some of the O-line starters, has been contacted behind the line of scrimmage at a 36% clip. That's the second most in the league. Philly's defense, 19th in EPA, 19th in success rate. If this team, I ask you guys, if this team didn't win the Super Bowl last year, would this team be favored in Minnesota by 2.5 when the Vikes are coming off a bye? There's no way. There's no way. This feels like the 2023 season where they were running out of gas in the second half of that year. The only difference is this season it's week 7. I mean, they covered versus the Chiefs when Kelsey dropped that ball at the end zone. They should have never covered versus the Rams. And then the one game that they legit covered was Tampa Bay. They had like 17 yards total offense in the second half against Tampa Bay. So give me Minnesota here plus 2.5 at home.
No cheesesteaks for Williams. Anti-Philly slant there. I'm completely on the other side of Williams here. I will not be betting on Carson Wentz under any circumstance.
Oh.
This is ridiculous behavior. Next game,
Eagles have been overrated all year.
Yeah, but it's Carson Wentz, Chris. Honestly, I'm not even going to let you guys walk into the trap that Williams just walked into. I'm not going to.
It's Minnesota. It's different up there. I don't get it.
No. Listen, Jimmy, mark down where I told both of them that they are fools for betting on Carson Wentz, because then you can roll this as a short, and our growing audience out there that loves our YouTube shorts will be able to say, Rod, not only is he a gracious and wonderful host, but he is smart about football. Let's go. Dolphins.
That is not
Browns.
what they say about you.
That's probably not at all what they say. That's why I don't look at the comments. We don't actually get any comments, so that doesn't matter. Williams, Dolphins at Browns.
Yeah, barn burner here, boys, right? I'm going to take, shocker, Dolphins team total under 18.5. Yes, under 18.5. You can find that minus 125 on MGM. Make sure you go on MGM because the juice is way less on MGM as it is compared to Caesars. Looks like there should be wind here in Cleveland by the lake. That's the first thing. Second thing, no one scores
Shocker.
on this defense at home. I mean, this Browns defense is elite when they play in Cleveland. The Browns pretty much shut down everybody when playing in front of that dog pound fans. Third thing here, you have to hit explosive pass plays against them to have a chance to score. Well, we know that there's no Tyreek Hill. He's done for the season for Miami. Dolphins are 24th in creating explosive plays on offense. And here's the fourth thing. They can't block. This Dolphins offensive line stinks. So good luck blocking this Browns D line. So I think this becomes a rush game attacked by both teams. The only difference here is that the Browns are third in rush success rate defense. Dolphins are 22nd. Browns are second in rush EPAD. Dolphins are 31st. So you get a lot of rushing attempts. That's going to wind the clock down. That's going to take away plays and possessions from Miami. I just don't see the Dolphins, scoring that many points here in this game. Give me Dolphins under 18.5 on Sunday.
Listen, I don't like to push back against Williams very often. I really don't, but I couldn't be on the other side of this. He's talking about a Browns team that had 45 yards rushing with Quinshon Judkins last week. So congratulations. Fine, the Dolphins might be terrible at defending the run, but you can't run the football anyway. They have a rookie quarterback making their third start. Tua is going to be going out there magnanimous and trying to play his butt off after throwing each and every one of his teammates under the bus. The Dolphins seem to be playing for Mikey McD. No, I am making my survivor pick because I have now become great at picking these games between terrible teams. I have done it the last 2 weeks. Follow me on this train, people. The Dolphins, I don't care. They might even score less than 18 points, but they're still beating the Browns. That's my survivor pick for the week.
Rod on a 2-week win streak. He's got the most. Williams just won last week with the Packers. Williams, please tell me that you have the Browns as your pick this week.
I do.
Let's go.
I had that before Rod even said that. So this is the first time in our history that two guys are going against each other in Survivor.
Yeah.
I'm going Browns. I'm doubling down. Give me that dog pound. Give me them Cleveland Browns.
Hey, is Dylan Gabriel still the quarterback?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're fine.
Sanders is coming up. They need to play Sanders. Just put him out there. Let's find out. Let's end this charade.
He
find
literally
out.
can't do any worse. But anyway.
Right.
All right. I'm going to go with tried and true. I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. I had the Bears last week. Thank you, gentlemen, for giving me the Bears. I appreciate that. I didn't pick them, so they won. If I would have picked them, they totally would have lost. I'm going to go with the Chiefs to get back-to-back wins here. And then, Chris, you were on the longest streak. You had 4 in a row, and then you picked the what team did you pick? The
Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys? Is that who you picked? What happened to them?
Look at that.
It really makes me mad because not only does that hurt, but I'm really more upset that Jimmy was like, I'll pick the Colts in our pre-game little get together, and then he changed it to the Chiefs when I had the Chiefs written down for me. So now I'm trying to figure out who I want to pick.
No, I picked the Colts last week. I picked the Colts.
No, you got the Bears last week.
I know because you didn't read the Google Doc.
He's confused. He hasn't taken his vitamins yet today.
Google Doc.
Chris, you can pick.
There's no Google Doc. Oh, I hate doing this.
Pick the Chiefs.
No, I'm going to pick the Atlanta Falcons to beat the 49ers in San Francisco because I don't think the 49ers has any defense left.
Oh, it could be a massive letdown spot after that huge Monday night victory, though.
Yeah.
Traveling cross country.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But they're going West Coast, so they won't have the jet lag. Now, the one thing that is crazy is Atlanta has a winning record right now. And they also have the strongest strength of schedule faced so far. So it's pretty impressive that they have a winning record if they're not out of this and getting blown out of this division by Tampa Bay. If Tampa Bay loses to Detroit and then Atlanta beats 49ers, it's a whole new division.
That's not happening. How dare you pick against Baker like that? Speaking of crushing disappointments, Jimmy, how disappointed are you to be 8 and 9 wins behind the other people on this podcast in the Wins League?
Well, like I said before, if you go because I only have my 18 wins are 5 teams, and you guys all have 8 teams. So I think I'm actually winning.
The Jets have not participated yet for you this year. That is definitely hurting you. The Browns are definitely hurting you. The fact that you have the team that was the first coach fired this season. By the way, we didn't mention that. Brian Callahan, you were not really thought of. Sorry, bud. Not sure you're going to get another shot. Your dad was a good offensive line coach once upon a time, but not sure you were a good football coach. Nothing in Tennessee
Is his
looks
dad
good
still
ever
employed
for the-
too?
No, his dad quit.
Oh, his dad quit. Oh, so the
Yeah.
Callahan line is completely gone.
So
Yeah.
like the one good thing about their team, the offensive line coach quit too.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah,
Awesome.
he had to go back to the factory. There was trouble there. Apparently the Callahan son was not quite running ship as tightly as it should have been. You know what I mean? That sounds an awful lot like a
$500,000
movie.
brake
But
pads need to be sold and made.
if you didn't catch my math there, Williams has 25 wins. Chris has 25 wins, and I have 24 wins. The one thing we definitely wanted to happen this year was a much more competitive wins league, and we have gotten it through 6 weeks, so that is great. Jimmy, we hit 40 minutes for a pretty packed football show. Not bad for us right there.
I think we did a pretty good job, and you know what? I think we have about 15 minutes more to go here pretty soon.
We sure do. You NBA fans, stick around. Williams, we appreciate you. We'll see you next week, my man.
Go Irish. BSC.
Welcome to the Fast Break, the fastest 15 minutes in the NBA. We had our gigantic draft last week. Still feeling pretty good about that. Gentlemen, 1 week from today, we've got NBA basketball. How excited are we? Actually, it's 1 week from yesterday, but whatever.
Yeah, it's a whole new season. Let's go. Everyone's got hope, right?
Everyone has hope, but there's one person who never has hope. We have our Raw Damnation of the week.
Jimmy, thank you very much. You are right. It is the start of an NBA season, and I would like to be as excited as our good friend, the old man, Christopher King. But unfortunately, at certain points during this NBA season, Adam Silver and his cronies in the office in New York expect me to watch NBA games on the following platforms and networks, Jimmy. ABC,
Okay.
NBC,
Okay.
ESPN, Peacock, Amazon, NBA TV, and oh yeah, by the way, occasionally a game you want to watch is going to be on something called NBA League Pass. My goodness. Okay, I am 45 years old and certainly by this point understand the business of sports. I get that the huge NBA contract helps all teams in the league and the players with the salary cap. I get it, but man, do we have to spread it out across this many platforms? We have people that are fans of this league. I think of the dear, the sainted Bob Ryan. We expect Bob Ryan to be able to navigate Amazon Prime and Peacock this year. Come on. And then you got other people. It's just, we're going to have a story, Jimmy, after the first few days of the season where people are going to be losing their minds. It's no longer, it was like a rhythm. Thursday night, you knew TNT, boom, games. Wednesday night, you knew ESPN games. Friday night, ESPN games. Sunday afternoon, ESPN games. Finals on ABC. We knew it. For like the last decade, we knew where to go to find games, and then the real hardcores could go to NBA League Pass. Now you got to have League Pass. You got to pay for Peacock. You got to be Amazon Prime. It's just, raw damnation to the league for spreading it too thin.
So if you have League Pass, you still would have to get Amazon Prime?
I believe so, if you want to watch the games that are then Amazon Prime exclusives.
I know you need money, but it almost is like you have to have one like bundle of something that you can watch everything on. Oh wait, we had that. Now it's gone. I don't get it, Chris. I know, Chris, you have no idea.
Well, let me be devil's advocate here, all right? Because I don't like that, right? I would much rather have easy access to watch the games I want to watch, right? And
you're agreeing with us then.
But this is what I'll say. Is it not a good thing for the brand of NBA, a league and a sport that we all love, to have this much juice to bring in the type of money that someone like Amazon's willing to pay to get a few exclusive games, or have this many different distribution networks vying for a piece of the pie? I mean, that means it's a valuable pie, right? That's good for the NBA, right? Did I lose you guys?
No, we're back. You there, Chris? All right. So
Yeah, I'm here.
yeah, it's tough because you want so right now the NBA wants that 18 to 25-year-old, right? So if someone goes on, hey, I want to watch a game. Oh, it's on Amazon. Oh, I can't watch it. Well, I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to go somewhere else. That's the issue. You want to have people to have easy access to your games. And while it's at a lot of different places, I think that might be the issue where you're just going to get fed up and not watch it at all and just go and watch the highlights.
Well, the
Rod, what do you
commissioner
think?
said it's a highlights league. I mean, the commissioner basically came out and told people that, tough luck. There's a lot of games on broadcast TV, which is the thing that I should mention, right? There are a lot of platforms you need to see them, but more games than ever are going to be on ABC and NBC, which you can literally pick up with free rabbit ears. So, I mean, 6 of one, half dozen the other, I guess, but there's too many platforms.
All right, so we did our draft last week. We're going to do our rankings this week as far as the awards. We're going to do MVP, Rookie of the Year, Sixth Man, Defensive Player of the Year, and then we're going to talk about our Eastern and Western Conference champions and then the overall champion as well. I'm going to go first. We're going to go, let's just start at the top, MVP. We got the MVP table starting already with these three players. I'm going to take Nikola Jokic. The Joker is going to be my MVP for this season. I think the Nuggets finally have the bench they need, and I think they are going to go very, very far in the NBA playoffs. Rod, what do you think of Joker as my MVP?
I like it. The Joker is one of the best players in the NBA, which makes him one of the best players in the world. The guy's stats are unimpeachable. I just wonder, you said it there yourself, there's a little bit better supporting cast around Jokic than we've seen in a couple of years. Will some of his usage, some of his, overall counting stats dip a little bit, and then maybe people try to use that against him? I'm trying to play devil's advocate, as Chris mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I think they can easily use that against him, especially since he's already won it so many times. But I think they're going to have such a better year than they did last year that, I think that might be the number one seed in the West. Who knows? I don't know. Chris King, who do you have as your MVP?
I'm kind of with Rod on that, thinking that I don't think it's going to be Jokic, less because of his counting stats or anything. We've seen his counting stats go up and it not matter. So I'm going to go to a dark horse candidate, a player that we've seen flashes of brilliance, a player who recently stated that he's willing to do more of the boring stuff to become a great player. I'm talking about Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves, dark horse candidate for MVP.
A huge dark horse
Dark
candidate
horse
there. Yeah, definitely. It's going to be tough, Rod, to get people in that mindset right now with Edwards. But if they continuously go to the Western Conference Finals again, you got to give them some props, don't you?
Yeah, I think Edwards is going to have a great individual season, but I guess I would ask Chris this as a follow-up. Jimmy, am I allowed to ask Chris a question, or do you have to be the one asking the questions on the fast break? I'm not sure how this works.
It's the Morgan Podcasting Network. Go ahead.
That's a good point. Look at you. Smart answer.
Oh,
All
did I
right,
lose
Chris, do you believe Edwards
Good
could still
timing.
win
All right, go
MVP if the Timberwolves do not finish ahead of the Thunder or the Nuggets in the standings?
I think they have to have one of the two best records in the league. I think they can't finish third in the West, but they could finish second if they were a half a game or a game behind the best record in the league, which who knows who that may be, right? Maybe let's call it OKC. Then I think you could still make that case, especially if they had the second best record in the league total. We know the East has fallen off a little bit. Cleveland can still get over 60 wins probably, but I don't think they need to finish first, but I don't think they can finish third.
Interesting.
Okay. Rod, MVP, who you got?
I've got a team that I think a lot of people are counting out. I've got a guy that has actually put up huge statistical seasons the past couple of years, and he's sort of been forgotten about. I think the only way that my MVP pick goes wrong is if this team ends up being worse than I think, and they are as bad as the collective podcast illiterati thinks they will be. Give me Giannis. This guy's won it before. I think he's going to be on an absolute tear. He's going to basically get to do anything he wants to on the Bucks. They don't have great players, but what they do have is a little bit of shooting. You know, you don't have anybody that you're going to write home about, but Gary Trent Jr. can knock down a jump shot. They got AJ Green, who they just re-signed to a contract extension, who can knock down a jump shot. So Porter Jr. played pretty well there last year. So they got some guys that can hit jump shots. I think Giannis is going to have darn near triple-double type stats. And if either the Cavs or the Knicks falter, and I kind of happen to think one of them might, Giannis is right there. And so I got Giannis.
I think that's a good pick. Giannis apparently wants to be a Knick, so he might win that MVP for the New York Knicks.
And that's how it goes wrong, right, Jimmy? If the Bucks end up being bad and he demands a trade out, I'm wrong. But if they hold it together, I think he's got a real shot.
I don't understand why this stuff comes out now and not earlier in the summer when people could actually make these deals. To me, it seems like he doesn't really want to go, but he wants people to know that he knows that he can ask out if he wants to. Yeah, I mean, Giannis, I think right now he's fourth overall in the MVP voting. Jokic is second. Anthony Edwards is first. No one picked Shea as back-to-back. Are we not thinking back-to-back this year, guys?
I'm not a big Shea fan, so I'll let my personal bias cloud me there.
Yeah. And
That's
if you
true.
want me to be 100% honest, I was not going to pick SGA or Giannis because they are both on my fantasy basketball team, and I'm not trying to jinx that.
Okay, I understand. Making sure your picks they mean something, right? They mean something. Let's go to Rookie of the Year. The Rookie of the Year odds right now: Cooper Flagg is minus 220. Everyone else is in the plus with Ace Bailey, Trey Johnson, and Dylan Harper following him. I don't see a world where it's not Cooper Flagg as the Rookie of the Year, so I am going to pick Cooper Flagg as the Rookie of the Year. I think he's going to get all the momentum all the chances to gain momentum throughout the year as possible, especially without Kyrie there. So I think Cooper's going to win that. Chris, there's no way you didn't pick Cooper Flagg, right?
Of course I picked Cooper Flagg because I'm always wrong on these, and I'm trying to jinx a fellow fantasy basketball player in our league, Wu-Tang. So, yes, Cooper Flagg, Rookie of the Year. Lock it down.
How many trade requests have you gotten so far? I've gotten one.
I haven't got one yet. That's awesome.
I haven't gotten one yet.
So I got one there. Rod, Cooper Flagg, is he a clean sweep or no?
No, he's not. I'm going to take the man you mentioned second, Ace Bailey. I only heard of this man, and then I watched some of preseason. I say man, and I mean man, capital M-A-N. This guy has himself an NBA body. And if you look back on some guys that have been NBA ready to go, it doesn't necessarily always have to do with their skills. It has to do with the guys who can actually play with men. And Ace Bailey can do that. And you want to talk about having a lot of room to do whatever. I'm not even sure Will Hardy gets to really call himself an NBA coach with the fact that Utah has not been concerned with winning games over the past 4 years, but he keeps getting contract extensions. So Ace Bailey's going to get the chance to rebound, to pass, to learn how to rotate on defense, to shoot threes, whatever. Ace, go do it. We've got nothing going on here in Utah. And I just think that, yes, no Kyrie, but there's still a lot of guys on the Mavericks that would like to get the basketball. So, and Cooper's a guy who will play team concept, and I just worry that his counting stats won't be enough for a lot of the voters in Rookie of the Year.
Well, if he gets 8 or 9 assists a game, that's not too bad there either, right? But Ace Bailey, I think the only issue that you have with Bailey is if he is too good. Maybe he'll have an ankle injury at the end of the season, or maybe he'll have a wrist situation, Because obviously the Jazz don't ever want to win. They just want to get the 6th pick in the draft all the time. Speaking of 6, look at this transition. Let's do it. 6th man of the year. I've got Tari Eason for the Rockets. I think the Rockets are going to do very well this year. I think he's going to have a big impact on their team. I think that's going to be a pretty easy 6th man of the year for me. Chris King, who you got?
I'm actually picking a guy from Rod's team. I think Pritchard's going to get it this year.
So you think they're going to be good enough? Oh, well, there you go. He is Peyton Pritchard right now is plus 3,500 to win, so that's pretty good. Eason is plus 1,500 to win there. Yeah, he may start for the Celtics because the Celtics need players.
You think he's going to start?
He's going to start. I do. I think he's going to start. I think him, Derek, Jalen, they're all 3 of those guys are going to be the starting.
So is Anthony coming off the bench then?
Yes, because I think the Celtics know he might not necessarily be there all year long. And
Gotcha.
Joe wants somebody
All
that can
right,
play defense. My
Rob, who
pick
you got?
for Sixth Man of the Year.
Yep.
Go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Josh Hart will be Sixth Man of the Year. Voters will finally embrace the fact that a high efficiency, a guy that comes off the bench and affects winning and losing in a lot of different ways because he has the boost of the New York market behind him. So give me Josh Hart, who's now not going to start because Mitchell Robinson's going to go in because the NBA is back to the big man, Jimmy. Something that'll probably come up on a theme as a few of our shows as we go through the season.
All right. Okay. So Tari Eason is my sixth man.
Isn't
Josh
he?
Hart is
Isn't he
Rod's
playing
sixth
with a
man.
splint on his finger right
Go
now?
ahead.
Isn't that what he's supposed to be doing for the rest of the year? I heard he's going to be wearing a splint the rest of the year.
That just ups the character, makes people want to
Yeah.
vote for him even more, Chris.
I
And
mean,
Chris
if he's
picked Peyton
successful,
Pritchard as a starter.
Well, I mean, he's on my. We are mentioning way too many people on my fantasy team. All right, we need to stop this.
That's okay. Defensive player of the year, the man who grew, I believe, 2 inches over the summer. I think he's
This is
7'7"
unanimous.
now. Victor Wembanyama.
This is unanimous.
Chris?
No, I was going to go a different way. But like he's going to swat everything away, right? So how
He's
do
going
you
to average
vote?
3.5 blocks and 2 steals a game.
Right, and you know I love stocks, but I don't want to vote for
5.5
him.
stocks a game. He's
I
going to
know.
be challenging David Robinson's epic fantasy season where Robinson had like 28 points, 15 rebounds, and 6.5 stocks a game. That's where Wemby's going to be at.
Right, and that's the thing. You get that many stocks,
And
I
they're
think
not
you
going to be able to
deserve
give
it.
him MVP. It's still so. Here's my thinking, Chris. They're not going to be able to give him MVP because the Spurs, like you said, aren't going to be good enough to garner MVP votes. So they're going to be like, well, he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. This has got to be unanimous.
Yeah, no. As much as I did want to nominate Giannis, I thought Giannis was going to step up his defense, especially his rim protection for the Bucks this year. I did.
That's the
I
one thing
gotta
Miles
go-
Turner can do.
I got to go with Victor. Right,
Yep.
Okay, so
unfortunately.
you're
Jimmy.
picking Victor's.
Yeah, if he
defensive,
stays
okay.
healthy this whole year, I don't think
gonna
you
win
can
the
give
next
it to anybody
4.
else.
All right. Now let's get into team activities here. We have our Eastern Conference champions. This is going to be kind of a battle of attrition here. We've got about 5 or 6 teams that can actually do it. But I think the New York Knicks, the new look New York Knicks with a new coach, a new system, some of the same players, but I think they're going to really do I think they're going to be rested, they're going to be ready to go, and I think the Knicks are going to go to the Eastern Conference, win the Eastern Conference and go to the finals. Rod Morgan.
Jimmy, I love it. I'm totally with you. We have so many past examples throughout basketball and, frankly, other sports of a team that gets up to the edge, that establishes what they are, that establishes character, that builds up scars, and then a new guy comes in and it's a fresh new voice and it's fun again, and they absolutely win the championship. That is not quite where I am with the Knicks, but they're going to get to the championship. Go New York, go New York, go. And it pains me as a Pacers fan and a Celtics fan to talk the Knicks up, but the Eastern Conference is wide open for them.
Chris.
I mean, you're not wrong in that analysis, Rod, except that never happens in New York. That's the only problem. Like, when do they get a new coach and it changes and all of a sudden they win a championship? That doesn't happen. Not in New York.
That's true.
All right,
That's
it's going to be
true.
the
They have
Cavs.
a lot of examples.
The Cavs
All
were
right.
close last year. I think some unfortunate, not enough playoff mentality type in late in the year. I think they've learned that lesson. I think they can continue to win 60-plus games and get out of the East.
I'm worried about the health, I mean, already you got Garland, who knows what he's going to do. And if one of the big guys goes down, I love Evan Mobley. I think he almost got my defensive player of the year, but I'm worried about them. And Mitchell too. I don't know. I hope
Strus
so.
is basically
I
going to
want
be
them
out
to
for
do
the
well.
year. Strus
Yeah.
is not like one of their top level guys, but he's important and he's out for the year. I'm with you on them being possibly injured, Jimmy.
Right? But I can't. It's what did I say at the beginning of this pod? Everyone has hope. All right? I can't base everything on what ifs because, like, Victor didn't finish last year. If he has something else happen to him, he's not going to get Defensive Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Good
Oh,
point.
you're right. You're right. You're right. You're such a smart guy, Chris. Okay, calm down. So anyway, you've got the Cavs there in the West. I went back and forth on this, guys. I really did. I think the Thunder are young enough that they're not tired yet, so I have the Thunder winning the West. Chris.
No, I think they'll end up with the best record in the West probably, but I still think Rod alluded to it earlier, or no, maybe it was you, Jim. I can't remember now, but the way Denver is built is more suited for a deeper run into the playoffs than just the personal accolades that Jokic could get. So I'm going with the Nuggets.
That was close. That was my backup. I had them written down, but I did go with Thunder. Rod, break the tie here. Who you got?
I have the Denver Nuggets for many
Okay.
of the reasons that Chris alluded to that I stated earlier, and I have the Nuggets winning the championship. They have done it before. They have a lot of the same guys on this team that did it before. Murray, Gordon, Jokic, all still on this team. Watson, Strother have one more year. They have a coach who seems to like them and support them a little bit. I've got to give David, honestly, I got to give David Adelman all the props in the world. He was thrown into a terrible situation last year, a couple of games at the end of the regular season. Then you got to go through the playoffs. They fought tooth and nail against the Thunder, the team who ultimately won the championship. He's got a whole training camp now. They've got guys that can fill in. Like, the thing with the Nuggets was stay alive when Jokic hits the bench. And now they got Jonas Valanciunas, all right? He's not a guy that you're going to want to run offense through for 35 minutes a game, but if you got to run offense through him for 12 minutes a game so Jokic can actually get a decent breather for a change, that's going to be huge. And if one of the young guys that I talked about getting better doesn't actually pop, guess what? They got Bruce Brown back, who's got proof of concept in Denver. And by the way, they got Tim Hardaway Jr., who shot the cover off the ball last year in Detroit. I think the Nuggets are loaded, and my bias against Oklahoma City Thunder are still there. They're definitely going to be in the running. I'm not counting them out, but I picked the Nuggets.
Okay, I have the Thunder beating the Knicks in the finals to actually have a back-to-back champion for the first time in forever. I think even with injuries that the Thunder can get through those and win the championship. You got to remember last year they didn't have a couple of their players for a very long time. The Jay Williams, that's a little nervous. I'm not going to lie on that. Chris, you have Nuggets and Cavs. Who you got?
I got the Nuggets. I think the Cavs are going to get there, but going to have the same fate. It's kind of what Indiana did last year, right? It's probably going to make it an exciting series, but in the end, I think the Nuggets are just too much.
All right, there you have it. I have my champion as the Thunder. Rod has the Nuggets, and Chris has the Nuggets as well. Before we leave for the Yeah We Know podcast, you're in the ring with Jimmy, Chris, and Rod. We need to do the Kings Hardwood Hierarchy, and then the trumpets would play normally. Give me a few minutes, okay? I'm only one man. All right, here we go. All right, Chris, who we got?
All right, we're going to start with the King. All right, they are the King. We haven't even played a game yet, so they're still the King. They won the championship. All right, it's Oklahoma City. All right, anybody else says something different, they're giving you a whole bunch of BS. The problem is who is the second tier, because it's not the Pacers who came in second last year. Let's be honest. As much as I wanted to put them there because I'm a homer, I can't. So it's going to be the Nuggets, and then I got to put the Cavs, I think.
Who's the jester to start the season? Jazz,
it's
Hornets,
hard for
Wizards.
I mean, listen, the Wizards,
Pelicans.
I think, have been permanent residents, and the magnificent palace of gestures that we created for them. So I don't know. I mean, we may not have a real gesture until like something big happens. Like, you could make a case.
What about the Pelicans for all the stuff they did? What about the Pelicans?
All right, you guys can talk me into
traded-
it. I'll let you choose this week, so you can be the Pelicans. Can be this week's gesture, because they are a truthfully awful ran franchise.
Can I also give you very
Go
quickly here, Jimmy? Can I give you the Portland Trailblazers, who next year will be paying Damian Lillard, Jeremy Grant, and who's the other one that's escaping me right now? Oh, Drew Holiday, $76 million. In the new second apron era of the NBA, those three will be making $76 million.
Not ideal, Johnny. And that will do it for the fast break, the fastest 15 minutes in the NBA. Stay tuned for the Yeah We Know podcast.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Goodbye, Internet.
I take my rightful place at the head of the table. Believe that.
Welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Know's podcasting network. You're in the ring with Jimmy, Chris, and Rod. Oh dear, Karma, and I'm not talking about the wrestler, waves her dirty little hand over the shoulder of Seth Rollins, who apparently actually injured his shoulder or arm or some part of his body that could be hidden under a coat in the match against Cody Rhodes. He's going to be out for a while. Rod, how you feeling, buddy?
I got to take this in levels here. On the first level, I am bummed for my guy on a human nature, right? He is hurt yet again. He is starting to rack up the injuries. I'm starting to have to look into the future and see a man nearing 40, a man who has wrestled hard and traveled the road an awful lot. We remember what he looked like in that WrestleMania match. We thought he was going to be out for quite a while. Then he came back. He just always seems to come back to try to further the story. I actually want him this time to sit out. That bums me out because he's going to have to turn the belt in probably, but I actually want him this time to be out for a while and come back when you actually can be back, because this is a sloppy story now. I get why you moved everything up, but it's a sloppy story right now, and it's just a shame because I think we had such a wonderful WrestleMania match that was lining up, Jimmy. You and I were getting pumped for it, and it's definitely in jeopardy now.
Yeah, and obviously this isn't in stone yet. We haven't heard about it from the WWE or Seth Rollins, but it was pretty evident, Chris, on Raw that he was hurt because he was even holding that shoulder when he went down after the spear.
Pretty sure we have had this same conversation just, 6-7 months ago, all right, where we were upset that we were losing Seth for what could be an extended period of time, and it was unfortunate that he had injured his knee real bad. Are we 100% sure that this isn't a work? Because we were all fooled last time, and we thought it was legit, and it was going to be out for a long time, even though he had the briefcase still and everything else. We thought he was out. Do we know that this is not a work?
Well, here's where it could be a work. You ready? They are so smart and so good. They're going to pretend he's hurt. They're going to take the belt off him. They're going to leave him off TV for 9 months and then come back just when we don't suspect him because it was a work to come back and try to win the belt again. I think it's real. Last time, I think all three of us were on the same page.
To answer Chris's question is we'll never know. Such is professional
If they
wrestling,
take the
right?
belt from him, I think if they make him relinquish,
it's real. Yeah.
I think if he has the belt taken away and it gets put up, right, then I have to imagine it's not a work.
Yeah.
Listen, if they take the belt from him and then they just nominate 2 people to fight for that belt, I'm gonna boycott wrestling until the next day.
Okay, so that's where I went from here. Okay, so we have our number 1 contender in CM Punk. They should just hand him the title, right? No, not happening.
As much as I've turned the corner on CM Punk,
What do you
I don't
think,
want to
Chris?
see a belt just get handed to anybody.
All right, Chris, what do you think?
No, this is supposed to be
hand CM Punk the title?
This is supposed to be the heavyweight. This is supposed to be the heavyweight title. All right, if they do anything less than a real tournament or some sort of Survivor Series elimination match of some sort to help determine that, then no, I don't want to see anything. I want to see, it can't just be 2 people like Rod said. It's got to be at least a gang of 8.
All right, Rod, you've got the book in your hand. What are you doing?
You have LA Knight and CM Punk at opposite ends of the bracket, right? So you have CM Punk take on somebody in the first round, like I don't know, maybe AJ Styles, right? Because that seems like a cool match.
Oh,
seems
you read
like
my
you're giving AJ a run, right? So you have AJ Styles take on him, then you have LA Knight take on somebody like a a Jimmy Uso, right? You have him take on like a Jimmy Uso, somebody else who they're trying to figure something out with. Him and LA have been going back and forth a little bit. You can tell some opening round stories there. You pepper in a couple of other guys. Maybe you throw Finn Balor in there. Drew McIntyre's got to be involved. Maybe the Legend Killer gets involved, right? You know what I mean? Like all of these different people are in your tournament, but you set up CM Punk and LA Knight on opposite ends because these guys have heat right now. You've been telling stories with them anyway, coming around the edges of the vision. This is the one way you might possibly be able to save this thing is if you give us a banger of a match between LA Knight and CM Punk at the end of a tournament for this belt.
Do we do a tournament, a qualifying tournament to get 6 people in, and then at Survivor Series, instead of the men's War Games, which right now, who's going to be in that? I mean, that's instead of doing that, do a women's War Games, and then do a men's ladder match for the championship, and have it go that way. That way you can have.
Is going to be the Wyatt Six in the tag division now, right? Because they're not going to be able to do do what they were probably going to do with the Vision and then another group of people.
Well, they were going to do Solo's group, remember? Yeah, exactly, Chris. Yeah, they're not going to be able to do that now. So I'm saying, do we just take War Games out of it? And we don't do War Games, and we do a ladder match, and that's the big thing.
No, here's what we do, Jimmy. Let's really put the crew to work. Let's get the War Games apparatus there, and let's get the Elimination Chamber apparatus there. Let's have one of each. Boom. Women's War Games at the beginning, men's Elimination Chamber at the end. Whoever comes out of the Elimination Chamber has the belt.
So we'll have a new Elimination Chamber apparatus to go over 2 rings. I like that. That would be
You can have 8 guys there. Yes, because you can have 8 guys then.
Excellent. Do we bring back Riddle for this?
I think we do. That was completely random, but okay. So you have Randy Orton in there. You have AJ Styles.
He's been making the rounds and proving why no real wrestling promotion has gone after him. That's what he's been doing recently, Jimmy.
Yeah, you've seen a lot of Riddle lately, haven't we now?
Yes.
So yeah, that's the thing that's the big news coming out of WWE right now.
You're
we
the fantasy booker
Raw.
here, Jimmy. You're the fantasy booker. No. We're not moving away from this without you, the expert, who all of our diehard fans missed you last week when Chris and I did our best yeoman's work to try to preview a premium live event, and you weren't here. So you are the one that actually should be calling what happens here.
Well, okay, we have CM Punk, Jimmy and Jay Uso, LA Knight. We have Breaker, and we have Bronson Reed, right?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You didn't
that's
put Chris's
6 right
guy in
there.
I guess Chris's guy's on the other show,
Well,
technically.
but that's 6. Punk, Uso. What the heck is that? Knight, Breaker, and Reed. If we have those 6, I think ladder match is what you do because you can get everybody over. You can have Breaker somehow because you don't want Breaker and Punk to be the match. You don't want Adam Pearce to come out and say it's Breaker and Punk. Punk deserves it. He deserves to be in there.
Do you want Reed and Breaker to also be fighting each other for the belt at that point either?
Those are stories. Well, that's the story you tell in the match. You have that team together. You have to have Punk. The Usos are together.
Usos, yeah.
Okay. But they're gonna fight. But good guys are dumb, remember? So they're all gonna fight. This way, you can bury Breaker underneath 15 ladders or whatever. You can handcuff Bronson Reed to something so they don't win for a reason. And then have Punk or one of the or Jay Uso could win again. Maybe Jimmy's going up for the title.
I think
Jay hits him in the back.
I think we add 2 more people to this to make it an even 8.
Okay.
I think you got to add Roman and Randy Orton.
See, I don't think it's going to be Roman because I don't think they want him to be in the championship because if it's Roman, he's got to win. I don't think they want to do that yet.
Not necessarily,
but
not necessarily when you still have the whole Jimmy and Jay thing going on and the Usos bloodline. So there could be numerous ways that Roman doesn't get that win.
Well, but it's not possible. Remember the last thing Roman said was he told the Usos he didn't want to see him till Christmas. So I kind of think that means we're not going to see Roman Reigns until Christmas.
They're so good together that they don't even have Thanksgiving. Okay, they just go right to Christmas.
They are Samoan.
I would think they would. Thanksgiving. That was my thought.
I don't think they would practice Thanksgiving. They're Samoan.
They live in Florida.
What does that have anything to do with it?
They do a lot of
They're
weird
gonna
stuff
do
in
things-
Florida, Jimmy. That's not really.
Yeah. By the way, Pensacola is where Roman Reigns from. That's where I was last week. I didn't get to see him though, unfortunately.
Shout
so
out to
I would do a ladder
Pensacola.
match. I would do a ladder match.
All
I
right.
think that
I don't
would
think
be good.
I don't think that's as much fun personally. I'd rather make
Okay.
the crew work and get a double elimination chamber going. But that's
Oh,
just
that
me.
would be
Yeah.
amazing.
That
That
would
would
be
that would
awesome.
be fun, but we'll see.
But you're right. That won't happen.
So we had an 8 a.m. Raw, which I thought was kind of fun on Monday, especially since no one was going to watch it until they found out what happened with that. But we got to talk about another
Which I think
injury. Jacob
WWE
Fatu.
knew.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, Jacob
think
Fatu was
WWE
out
knew
for a
that.
long time. Jacob Fatu's out for a very long time. I don't know what it is, but he's going to be hurt, so that sucks. That's another really over guy that's going to be gone for a while.
Man, it's just
That's
injuries,
what happens
man.
when you're
It's
all
just-
gas. No brakes. You're going to get hurt.
There you go.
Let's talk about some pricing, shall we? It's our favorite thing to do, ticket pricing for John Cena's last event. I believe the nosebleeds were in the $250 range, even more than WrestlePalooza. The ringside were like $8,000. There were 50,000 people who wanted tickets
I was gonna say.
for a 20-some thousand arena, but people in the 38 or 40,000 were still getting the opportunity to buy because, like us, they saw the prices and said no. I think the WWE might, after maybe 2 more pay-per-views, realize that this is not going to work. Although they're going to sell it out, so who am I kidding?
That's what I mean. 53,000 people in a pre-sale, Jimmy, is not necessarily bolstering our argument that they're going to suddenly lower prices because, as you stated, if people are still willing to buy it, which, again, you mentioned that a lot of people were in the queue and then ducked out of the queue, but they still sold it out. They still probably thought to themselves for a second, can we get RFK? Are the Redskins actually in town then? You know what I mean? Like, I bet they did. You know, they're like, why not have a Saturday night's main event in a football stadium with 50,000 people? I guarantee they thought of it, but they probably couldn't pull it off logistically. So
They might be able to get RFK, actually. I'm not going to lie.
yeah, they seem like they'd be able to sell enough tickets for it. But Jimmy, here's my thing. Could they still hold John Cena's opponent, then give us John Cena's opponent, then announce RFK? Or do you think they could sell out RFK and still keep Cena's opponent a mystery?
You got to be careful with weather. That's December. So I don't think you're going to be able to do that.
I guess that's true.
But it is December. But speaking of Cena's opponent, of course, The Rock has to say, well, I have a lot to do with who might be his last opponent, and just laugh a little bit and go, we'll do that. Honestly, it would be the most, it would be the biggest last opponent he could have. It would also end a storyline that really a lot of people hate. The Rock would come in as a gigantic heel. I think it would be kind of cool to see a 15, 20-minute match between the two of them. I don't think that's going to happen. But, it's fun to speculate, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably about the only person I think he could fight in his last match that would make me interested in the outcome and what could happen, right? Can't think of another person that is more important to me as a wrestling fan or anything else, right? Because I watched when The Rock was on TV. I didn't when John Cena was on TV. So let me see The Rock. Let me relive some of that glory time. So, yeah, give me The Rock versus Cena. I'll watch that all day long.
What do you think, Rod?
If you'll allow me here real quick, Jimmy, I'm going to do a bit of a victory lap / Rod Damnation here a little bit. And I frankly struggle with these thoughts, but I still have to absolutely bring them out from time to time. Okay. And I thank you for giving me the platform to air it out. And I must admit, I completely lost what I was saying. What was Chris just talking about? The Rock. No, here's what it is. It's amazing to me that The Rock, thank you. I lost my train of thought and brought it right back. It's amazing to me that The Rock decides to insert himself into the WWE storylines after his movie, The Smashing Machine, tanks. which the victory lap part of my Rod Damnation here is me. When the previews for this movie first came out, I said, absolutely, goodbye, no thank you. No one wants to see The Rock doing this kind of movie, and nobody did. Nobody saw it. Nobody cared. Nobody's speaking about it anymore. It's not going to get an Oscar run. It's just yet another forgettable movie from The Rock. It tanks and makes $4 million at the box office, and all of a sudden, Rock has to remind everybody, hey, you know the one thing that you actually like me for? The one thing that I'm actually good at? Turns out I'm really important, really powerful there. Like me, still like me. Get the hell out of here, Rock. I want Edge.
Chris, Rock has started to film Jumanji, so we're good. He's okay, right?
I'll watch the next Jumanji.
Hell yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it is kind of interesting that happened with it only making $4 million. Before we go, we did have a premium live event. Just want to go over real quick because a couple of big things happened. Obviously, Cody Rhodes was defeated finally by Seth Rollins, but it's it kind of sucks that he won with only one arm, Rod. But that Cody cutter.
Would they make him, if he's really injured and they make him give up the heavyweight belt, he can still keep that crown jewel belt though, right? That's the bigger of the belt, so he still will have one, Rod. Even if they make him give up the one, he still has the crown jewel.
You don't even get to keep that. You just keep the ring. The belt is just for the day. Didn't you see the 35-minute package on getting the
Crown
belt?
Jewel championship. They can never take it from him.
All right.
Never. He's 2025 Crown Jewel champion.
Yes.
Forever and always.
John Cena and AJ Styles. I want to read you something that one of our listeners sent. You might have heard him, Brett from the Yeah We Know podcast back in the day. I sit here as a 44-year-old father of two, and I just cried my way through the Cena and Styles match. I'm so happy for them and for all of us who have experienced that. What an incredible match and atmosphere. I am in no way emotionally prepared for this to wind down if this is the ride they have in store for us. Pretty deep there from our boy Brett, and I had so much fun with that match. I did love going back and forth with the moves. It was everything that is professional wrestling. It was over the top, didn't make all the most sense in the world sometimes, but AJ Styles still has it, and if he's going to retire in 2026, I want him to retire after another championship run, because boy, I love that guy. Chris King.
Yeah, it was a lot of the stuff I knew, right? And that was a big nostalgia dump, right? For a lot of people, especially the big fans from the past 20, 25 years. That was a big nostalgia dump for these two guys to do all of that they did, right? So, yeah, I definitely did not appreciate it quite as much as probably either one of you or especially Brett. And that's just because I didn't watch wrestling for 20 years. But it was still a hell of a match, and I am with you. If AJ Styles is going to be gone in less than a couple years, then I want to see more of him because he is phenomenal in the ring.
I see what you did there, Rod. What are your thoughts?
Jimmy, would you take a semi-Bullet Club reunion between AJ and Finn over a AJ championship run?
Well, AJ and Dragon Lee are together, so we have to. Man, that would be good too. I would love to see those two go at it again. I mean, they have before, but really just, it's one of those where Triple H goes up to them and say, "Hey, you two, you've got 25 minutes. Go." AJ goes.
Listen,
over.
Finn Balor
or whatever.
Could use something to do. Finn Balor could use something to do. I'm all for it. We need to do something with the tag team championship belts on Raw. Those guys have had it and they don't ever fight anybody. That's a bummer. AJ Styles, John Cena, chef's kiss, man. I can't add anything more than what you guys said. The only thing I could say is, Brett McNeil, get your keister back on this show. If you're dropping takes like that to Jimmy through text, my guy.
We have Nakamura back again. It's because they're going on a Japanese tour. But he had his old music, his old character. That was so great. Harking back to NXT debut against Sami Zayn when people were saying, holy shit, during his entrance. You don't see that very often. So that was kind of cool. I'd love to see an AJ Nakamura, a correct match. Because if you remember, Nakamura won the Rumble and had a horrible match with Styles because it was the low blow ending. Just really bad at WrestleMania. I want them to get that back. So I think that would be cool.
I was
well.
nostalgic for Rick Boogs, Jimmy, when that music hit. I was nostalgic for Rick Boogs when that music hit.
We are an hour and 24 minutes into our TMYK live, and this is the first moment that we've mentioned that Roman Reigns was pinned in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, on a premium live event by Bronson Reed. Now, looking back, this is the best thing that could have happened when you lose your leader. So you have Braun Breaker, and then you elevate Bronson Reed to be the third person, only the second single person in the past 5 years to pin Roman Reigns. That was gigantic.
You're absolutely right, Jimmy. I also think we should point out that 2 other people that rarely are on their back ended up on their back at Crown Jewel in Australia. That's Cody Rhodes, he already mentioned, and Tiffany Stratton, who had not lost in 2025, ended up on her back as well. So clearly Stephanie McCurr has the rocket ship attached to her. Clearly they had plans for Seth, and then those were derailed after the injury. And yeah, man, Bronson Reed, you got to give it to him. Tribal Thief worked, stealing the shoes worked. He's better on the mic than you think he'll be. He's pretty agile. I like it, man. We got to try to create people, and we're creating Bronson Reed right now. And Chris, I know you're not a huge Roman Reigns guy, but you have to see the value in what Roman Reigns can do in what he just did for Bronson Reed by showing up 3 times.
I'm just happy to see the Bloodline lose, even though they tried to interfere and alter the match, right? I thought for sure when I saw it, we talked about it, Rod, we went back and forth of what could happen, but in your deepest heart, did you think you were going to see Roman get pinned?
No, that's what we said. I was like, I'd love to see Bronson win, but there's no chance Roman's on his back. That's what both of us said. It's crazy.
Right. But we talked about the Usos coming in, and it was nice to see for once the Bloodline interfere and it not work out for Roman.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, that match was long, about 10 minutes longer than it should have been. And then, of course, we had Rhea Ripley and Io Sky defeat the Kabuki Warriors, and I just love everything that's going on with this feud. I don't care whoever's wrestling, just go. Kairi Sane has done a little bit better here recently, too. So that's really good to see her continue to grow and get back to where she needs to be. We have been going a long time, gentlemen. I do appreciate your time so much. I know you have to get up early and beat those red lights in Bloomington, Chris, right?
Yeah, I got about 8 of them, and most of my turns end up being right, and I can't turn, Rod. Get rid of those no turn on red.
And with that, you've been listening to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Know's podcasting network. You're in the ring with Jimmy, Chris, and Rod.
And for those of you out there that are just audio listeners, know that you missed out on me changing hats for every segment. I had an NFL hat on, an NBA hat, and then a wrestling hat. All the reason to check out our YouTube page.
Goodbye, Nick. Yeah.
If you haven't ever seen a hat, you get hats on the Morgan You Know.
Someone changing into hats while taking off headphones. I'm talking about action, ladies and gentlemen.